Housing is a human right, but here in Nevada, too many of our neighbors are being priced out of their homes, while corporate landlords and developers take advantage of our communities because of the lack of tenant protections. Families are forced to make impossible choices, like pay rent or put food on the table, while corporations are free to use predatory hidden fees and application costs. That's not justice, that's corporate greed.
Today, we'll be speaking about summary eviction reform and responding to our state's broken eviction system, meaningful tenant protections around fees.
Plan and the Nevada Housing Justice Alliance have been working tirelessly statewide, advocating for tenant rights in Nevada. In 2023, Governor Lombardo vetoed important legislation aimed at safeguarding Nevada tenants, including SB 78, which would have enhanced transparency regarding monthly costs for tenants. But we didn't stop there. Plan and the NHJA held multiple listening sessions and deep canvasses at slumlord-owned apartments, talking to tenants fed up with their uninhabitable living conditions. We also started to monitor eviction court proceedings and organized a Tenants Turn Up Forum in 2024.
One bill was to stop what I call the resortification of rents, where they tell you what the rent is, and then you put down your non-refundable deposits, your credit, application fees, you put down all of that. You agree to take the apartment, you sit down to sign your lease, and you find out it's $15 for the pool key.
To start this year's session, we set our priorities with the goal of addressing the most pressing issues faced by tenants across Nevada. We focus on amplifying the voices of those who have been marginalized and ensuring that their stories drive the legislative agenda. Our priorities included advocating for transparency in rental agreements, pushing for rent control measures, and demanding accountability from landlords who neglect their responsibilities. We held a series of training sessions where tenants learned to give their testimony and speak their truth. We were able to show the need and support for these changes at the legislature, where tenants got to share their experiences to decision makers at countless hearings and join the NHA for lobbying trips and face-to-face conversations with their legislators. Even when we were unsure if Lombardo would sign these bills, we made sure he heard from tenants through our postcard campaigns, phone banking, and made videos directed at him to pass a base of tenant protections. Our communities demanded lawmakers prioritize people over landlords.
I think these kinds of fees are just a big burden on people when they don't even know what they're signing up for.
Rent is the highest bill that tenants have to pay, and it is deceptive advertising to list rent that is lower than what tenants are being charged.
I was told it was $1,800, and then when I signed the lease, my first rent was up to $2,100, and the stress that put me as a full-time student and working at a part-time restaurant was extremely hard.
And together we won. Lawmakers passed AB121, a landmark bill for housing justice. Starting October 1st, 2025, AB121 will go into effect, giving tenants stronger protections and making it harder for corporate landlords to hide fee loopholes that drive up rents at the expense of the tenant. This victory didn't come from the top, it came from us, from ordinary Nevadans organizing and refusing to be ignored. But the victory of one bill is not the finish line. Tenant fee transparency is only one step towards housing justice and stronger tenant protections in the face of corporate greed. We need to continue to organize our friends, families, and neighbors to hold landlords accountable for unsafe homes, skyrocketing rents, and cruel evictions. Because the fight for housing justice isn't just about laws, it's about dignity, stability, and the right for every Nevadan to have a safe and affordable home.
All of these folks behind me, all of these groups helped make this possible. We sat in hearings in justice courts to hear what people have gone through, the evictions that they've gone through. This is one step to make life a little bit easier and so that you know how to plan for your life, but it's not the last step.
So here's the call. Don't sit this fight out. Join us. Organize with us. Together, we can build a Nevada where people, not corporations, decide our future. Housing justice is people's power in action, And when we stand together, we win.